It's time, America.
All right, I'm back with Margaret for a new news show that we're doing, and this is the introductory episode, so please be a little patient with us as we, especially because we're covering the Brian Walsh trial all day. It was a long day, wasn't it, Margaret?
It sure was.
So we just didn't have, we were kind of hurried to try to get together the images for this, for behind the screen. But I think that what the hope is that over time, we'll try to be on as many nights as we can with this kind of quick program like this. And then when there's a big story breaking, you will know that you'll find us here covering it live. And we have a great group in chat, and you'll be able to share conversation about whatever momentous thing is going on with them in chat as we watch the news and try to sort through. And you know that we're a trusted source. We're people that are objective, and I'm almost 60 years old. I've been following news for a long time. Margaret isn't up to there yet, but she's been following the news her whole life too. So we'll be able to give you guys the fair and balanced reports on things. Now let me bring in the slideshow, so we'll have an image behind us for most of these stories. And all right, so first in national news, cold wave grips the nation. Do you see the map that I got up there? A brutal cold wave has swept across much of the United States, with sub-zero temperatures recorded in several northern states. Emergency shelters have been opened in cities from Minneapolis to Buffalo, as officials warn of frostbite risk and urge residents to limit outdoor exposure. The National Weather Service reports that the Arctic blast is expected to persist through the week, straining power grids and raising concerns about heating costs for vulnerable households. Are you staying warm, Margaret?
Yeah, although I did step outside today, and it was cold. I'm not used to it yet, but I'm from upstate New York, where that grid is.
So you're somewhat trained for it.
I really
next
am.
Up,
wait, I want to go back to the old one real quick.
Oh, back to the cold. Go ahead.
Back to the cold, and it's really interesting because I had just had a conversation with someone how in upstate New York, and I'm from Rome, New York, which is central New York, we would get lake effect snow. Halloween, half the time we were trick-or-treating in snow. And we haven't seen that in a long, we haven't seen that in a very long time in upstate New York. So I think weather patterns are changing from the back in the day. Plus, a friend of mine on the water, on the ocean, does a lot of fishing around here, says that the wind has been a lot more significant in the past, say 5 years than it was before. So that was just my little, I could go off on that, but I wonder.
Weather is always varied. And I remember when I was a kid, so people, you're not from New England, but we had this thing up here that everybody remembers that is my age or older, called the Blizzard of '78. And this was this was still the blizzard to end all blizzards for us. And that was in 1978. And I was like 12 years old in school, but then when we had a lot of snow that winter, so as a kid, it was great. So we had so many snow days off. But then the next like 2 or 3 years, as a kid, I remember we got totally screwed. It just never snowed, and we never got days off.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's really interesting. Yeah, blizzard of '78, we got in upstate New York as well, and it was snow up to the rooftop. So the same thing. All right. So number 2, my story next: national security strategy pivot. President Donald Trump unveiled a sweeping new national security strategy that places China at the center of U.S. defense planning. The document reaffirms America's stance against unilateral changes in the Taiwan Strait and emphasizes strengthening alliances in the Indo-Pacific. While supporters praise the clarity of the pivot, critics argue the approach risks escalating tensions with Beijing. The strategy marks one of the most significant shifts in U.S. foreign policy in recent years.
Right. And of course, Barack Obama had the pivot to Asia too.
Yes.
So because people understand that the trade routes that go through the Sea of China are by far the busiest in the world and the most important in the world. And this is one of the reasons that the United States, Australia, and Japan and South Korea have banded together to try to protect Taiwan, to make sure China doesn't take it. China sees that kind of the way we see California as part of something that should belong to them. But strategically, it would be very dangerous to a lot of countries, but especially to Japan, if suddenly Japan was to take Taiwan.
Oh, yeah. That's a very interesting. We'll have to keep following that one.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So let me switch the screen.
Oh, switch the
next
screen.
slide. This is looking as professional as we can make it so far. We will. Oh, it doesn't even. These slides
That's
don't always fit,
okay.
but at least you have something to go with the story. So, and this story is National Parks Admission Policy. The U.S. National Park Services announced changes to its free admissions policy, dropping complimentary entry on Martin Luther King Day while adding new dates tied to presidential birthdays. The move has sparked debate over accessibility, with advocates arguing that free days are critical for low-income families. Park officials say the adjustment is intended to balance crowd management with commemorative significance, but the decision has already drawn criticism from civil rights groups.
Why on earth would they drop the complimentary entry on Martin Luther King Jr. Day? That seems bizarre. I mean, I don't like that.
I do not know, and I've never been to a national park. I have the feeling you have been. Well, unless the one that we discussed earlier in the Cape, is that a national park or is that a state park? Or Nickerson?
That's a state park.
That's a state park. Okay.
Yeah, in fact, I've been to the Grand Canyon, but there are a lot of national parks that are listed in your little graphic there that I have not been to, and I need to do it. So, but I don't. Why not Martin Luther King Day, King Jr. Day? I mean, I don't like that. Do you, Kevin?
I don't really have an opinion on it. I don't know. Are the other days free?
They're going to add,
really
according to your news thing, they're adding other days to honor other presidents.
Right.
But I feel that I like some of the free days, because I think going to a national park is something that, if you're in a low-income family, it's something that vacation that you can take, get in your car, go to the national parks, versus, getting on depending where you live, but getting on an airplane and all that. So I hope we don't take it away.
Is it expensive? Like, do they charge by the car, by the person? I
don't remember I don't know what the prices are actually. But don't forget, people have to load families up and they have to pay for gas to get there. So it would be nice if they offered some perks, and I think they can do it.
Okay.
That's just my opinion.
And let's see.
All right. So mass killings report. So this is a new report shows that mass killings in the United States have declined in 2025 compared to previous years. Though experts caution the trend may be temporary, analysts suggest the dip reflects a return to historical averages rather than a permanent reduction, noting that social stressors and access to firearms remain unchanged. Law enforcement agencies continue to push for stronger community intervention programs, warning that complacency could reverse that progress. And so I do think it is important. The push for stronger community intervention programs is very important, because crime fighting starts at the community level.
Right. And hard to read into 1 year if this is a trend or an improvement, and I think a lot of times those things tend to come, if one happens, then for some reason that tends to inspire other crazy people who are thinking about doing something like that. So unfortunately, if we get hit with one, it becomes more likely we'll get hit with another one within a few months, I think.
Yeah.
So I guess we've been lucky this year, and hopefully our luck will continue for a while.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Next up on the list, Oh, maybe Margaret. I don't know if Margaret knows much about this. I don't know too much, but Margaret probably does. Federal Reserve and market outlook. The Federal Reserve's upcoming rate decision, the all-important rate decision, is expected to guide domestic stock market trends this week, with investors closely watching for signals on inflation and economic growth. Analysts predict that the Fed may hold rates steady, but any surprise move could ripple across housing, consumer spending, and employment. Wall Street remains cautious, balancing optimism about holiday retail sales with concerns over global economic uncertainty. So obviously, when the rates are lowered, the market tends to go up. But then now a lot of that is anticipation. So if the rates are expected to be lowered, they don't necessarily go up unless they go lower than were expected, right? Something like that. Is that?
Yeah, and Wall Street just can't stand uncertainty. So
Yeah.
Wall Street gets very jittery. And I do follow Wall Street. My daughter, my oldest daughter, is works for a hedge fund. So she's busy in
Oh,
New York analyzing, that's what she does. She analyzes all stuff like this. She had a real math brain. Um, Brilliant kid, brilliant.
so you give her all your YouTube money to
Um,
invest.
no, she's not an investor, but she works for a hedge fund and she analyzes commercial real estate stock, like
Mhm.
performances and all that, so that she advises the hedge fund, will invest in this sector or hold off in this sector. Don't do this, don't do that. But she has to really, and she also, Kevin, it's interesting because they do use AI to some extent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you're
And
plug for
what's
your
going to
AI.
happen when somebody, well, hopefully somebody in this, well, hopefully it's not one private group that does this, but if somebody develops an AI that is so advanced that it could give them a big advantage in market investments, somebody could grow rich very quickly, I mean, ridiculously rich, and maybe tank the market or something like that too. So this, we'll have to be careful
Yeah.
with something like if
Yeah.
you end up
No,
with
you're
an
right. That's a
AI
lot
that's
of change.
yeah. All right. So
All right.
next up
So my
we
turn.
had, yep. Oh,
Oh yeah,
Paramount.
this seems interesting. Paramount launches hostile takeover bid for Warner Brothers Discovery. In a significant move in the entertainment industry, Paramount has initiated a hostile takeover bid for Warner Brothers Discovery, aiming to gain control of the highly sought after media conglomerate. So that should be very interesting. We need to follow that because Kevin, when they ask us to, you know, make movies on all of our YouTube stuff that we put out. It
That's
made
why
them
we're doing this.
impact us. Oh yeah. Yep. It's going to impact us. We could get millions or
Yeah.
not.
And I heard Netflix is in on this too. I saw a story on this tonight that Netflix
Yeah.
might be in on the bidding too. I
Ah,
don't even remember what are our favorite shows on Warner. I don't watch a whole lot of TV. There's some really good shows on Paramount though.
yeah. Paramount. I mean, Discovery's big. Warner Brothers is huge,
Hmm.
So very interesting. It's a big conglomerate. All the media is big conglomerates now. So,
There's been a lot of changes in the industry, and since Netflix started bringing people into watching, long TV shows, a lot of the best writers in the business now actually write for TV, and you see a lot of the best actors doing stuff on TV as opposed to movies now too. So you can now really high quality. These are the paid programs like HBO and Paramount Plus. They
mhm.
tend to have really good stuff.
Yeah. I did read an article though this summer. A lot of the writers and people in the Hollywood business, music editors, a lot of those jobs have gone away. I don't know if
Yeah.
they've been replaced by AI, but a lot of them
Not
are.
yet. AI, I've fooled around with the AI, and when you take a first glance, it seems to write well, but it can't really create well. It
Right.
can put together words incredibly well. So if you have something, a script, a book, or whatever, a letter to somebody, a business letter, it can rewrite it for you and be very helpful at that. But
Yeah,
it's not going to create something.
but I also think there's something to do with in the article, people's viewing trends. So people are getting a lot more stuff on YouTube. They're watching us now instead of Netflix. That's the thing.
Obviously, do we have 100 here today?
Yeah, we're what? Yeah, we're what? That's that's the thing. They're turning to different. I mean, I still watch Netflix. I like to kind of relax with it at night, but the consumers are watching a lot more YouTube, I believe, and a lot of these people that were making a lot of money in various jobs in the movie industry in California have been out of work for a number of months, even a year or something like that. So it's an interesting article.
There's 7 billion people in the world, right? So we only need a very tiny amount of that to be looking good. We're only asking for a small slice.
Exactly.
All right. And the next one.
So, whose turn is it to read?
I can't remember.
I think it's yours.
Okay. Trump to announce $12 billion tariff relief for farmers. President Donald Trump is scheduled to unveil a significant $12 billion farm aid package to provide relief to agricultural producers who have been financially hurt by low crop prices and the fallout from the administration's trade and tariff policies, particularly with China. The aid, which echoes similar support provided during his first term, will primarily be distributed through the newly designed Farmer Bridge Assistance Program, offering up to $11 billion in one-time payments to crop farmers, eligible farmers who grow products like corn, soybeans, and wheat can have an average adjusted gross income below $900,000 for the 2022-24 tax years. The administration intends for the payments to offer financial stability to farmers as they plan for future harvests, addressing what some economists and farm groups have called an urgent need for economic aid in the countryside. So yeah, there is a national, every country has a national interest in making sure they have a food supply.
Yeah. So that's a good thing.
We're lucky in this country that we are a net exporter. We have, so many great farms.
Yeah.
China at one time was like that, and now they're the world's largest importer of food stuff. So they're dependent on, that's why a lot of it comes from here, but they're depending on food from around the world. That's a tough spot to be in.
Oh yeah. And I'm from upstate New York, which is partially farm country. So I've always supported the farmers. We had farmers down the street delivering eggs. Farmer Bob. That's his name.
And Margaret's last story, the last story that I had an image for.
Okay. Okay. All right. This is an interesting
Sometimes
story.
you feel like a nut.
Yeah, you should feel like a nut. Kevin, no, your images are good. I'm just kidding. Okay. Nut recall in 10 states as FDA issues warning. The FDA has issued a warning concerning a recall of Wegmans. Oh no, deluxe mixed nuts unsalted. I go to Wegmans and oh dear, products due to the potential risk of contamination with salmonella. Ooh.
So if you're feeling a little nutty, make sure it's not from Wegmans.
Yeah, that's quite something. Jeez.
We don't have any Wegmans around here where I am, but you have them in New York, you said?
Well, yeah, we have in upstate New York for sure. And there's some Wegmans in Massachusetts too.
Okay.
Yeah. Unless I'm losing my mind. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're in the mood for some salmonella.
Wegmans near the 128 train station.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a great store. Wegmans is an awesome store. So.
And I love nuts.
Me too.
As you know.
I do too, but I'm out. In fact, my daughter ate the rest of mine, so I'm out, and I'd love to, have some nuts like almonds or something, especially when we have long days covering trials like we did today. I didn't have many snacks.
Snack beside you. Every time I try to go into, we had a sidebar the other day, and I tried to go live, and I could see Margaret's chair, but not see Margaret. She was probably having
I was running.
Snacks.
Well, the funny thing was, when we cover these trials, sometimes I'll go into the living room where I have more of a couch and I can relax and I'm actually crocheting a blanket as well. So I can listen to the trial and crochet because it's got to be done before Christmas. So then all of a sudden they go into sidebar and I'm like, and I'll run into my office and then I'll realize I forgot to mute the TV in the living room. I'm like, oh my God.
We can hear you running towards
run
the
back.
chair, too.
What?
We could actually hear you. We could hear your footsteps. We could hear you running towards the chair.
You guys must think I'm the biggest goof.
This is what we go through for the live production for our audience.
I think you guys caught me in my pajama bottoms a couple times too. Like I had these long when I was running back and forth. I think you did. Oh well. All right, the next one. Ukraine talks in London. International news, right? Moving on.
Yeah, this is international news. We don't have any photos for the rest of these, so you'll have to imagine it in your mind.
Okay.
Go ahead. Would you like to read this one?
Oh yeah, is it my turn? Oh no, it's your turn.
Switch it up. Well, we can switch it up if you want.
No, your turn.
British Prime Minister. See, I got to tell all the hard names.
Yeah.
British Prime Minister Keir Starmer hosted Ukrainian President Zelensky. I'll skip the first name. In London for a high-stakes round of talks aimed at advancing peace negotiations with Russia. The meeting comes at a critical juncture as Western allies debate the scope of continued military and financial support for Kiev. Starmer emphasized the UK's commitment to Ukraine's sovereignty, while Zelensky pressed for stronger guarantees against Russian aggression. Analysts note that the talks highlight both the urgency of ending the war and the growing strain among allies over long-term commitments.
Good. It would be nice to see that war ended.
Yeah.
Do you think?
Yeah, it's a difficult. Yeah, and it's a difficult. I'm not necessarily a fan of the way, we've made our allies in NATO feel like we're not fully committed to their defense. But I also think since World War II, those allies have maybe taken our commitment for granted. So maybe there's a happy place in the middle where we could meet, where they could no longer take us for granted, and we can make sure that they feel secure and knowing that we will stand by their side all the time.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can reach that.
I hope so.
All right.
It'll be interesting.
All right.
Okay.
You want a cyclone?
Cyclone Ditwa devastates Sri Lanka. What a shame. That's too bad. Sri Lanka is reeling from the catastrophic impact of Cyclone Ditwa, which has left more than 600 people dead and hundreds missing. Oh my God. The country's disaster management center reports widespread flooding, collapsed infrastructure, and mass displacement of families. Relief efforts are underway with international aid pouring in. That's good, including mobile hospitals from India treating thousands of affected citizens. Officials warn that the full extent of the damage may take weeks to assess as rural areas remain cut off by washed out roads and power outages. Have you ever been in a cyclone?
As opposed to a hurricane? Or I've never been over in Asia where they refer to them as cyclones. I've never been to Asia.
Okay, I've been not in a full-out cyclone like this, but it's very different from hurricane conditions. So I've been in cyclone-like conditions, probably the step below and it is scary. It's wild how the wind whips around and the rain. So this must have been really intense.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot, and those areas, some of them are so poor, and they're.
I know.
When you get flooding, they really don't have anywhere to go.
Yeah, Sri Lanka,
and they may not have and they may not have proper warning times either, or any kind of we take a lot for granted in this country that when a storm is coming, most of the population knows about it, and at least they have a chance to get to safe ground.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So, and then unfortunately, a lot of times global international news is going to be natural disasters like this. And there was another one today. I don't have in the report. There was a big earthquake off the coast of Japan too. I don't know if that led to anything. I think there were tsunami warnings, but probably no tsunamis. But an earthquake strikes in Nepal A magnitude 4.1 earthquake struck Nepal early Sunday morning, rattling communities across the region. The National Center for Seismology confirmed the quake occurred at a shallow depth of 5 kilometers, intensifying the tremors felt in nearby towns. I don't know why it's only 4.1. Why is this a story? While damage reports remain limited, residents described moments of panic as buildings shook and people rushed outdoors. Authorities are monitoring aftershocks and reinforcing. So bottom line, I don't know. Nothing happened there.
Yes, it doesn't seem that 4.1 compared to what we get in California. It's not that big, but yeah.
Hey.
All right,
We
Kevin.
just read the news. We're just here to report the news.
Yeah.
You know, we're not.
All right. Thailand launches airstrikes along disputed border with Cambodia. Okay. Tensions have sharply escalated between Thailand and Cambodia as the Thai military launched airstrikes along with their disputed border. This military action comes in the wake of renewed fighting that resulted in the killing of a Thai soldier and 4 Cambodian civilians. The escalation reignites conflict weeks after a ceasefire, which was reportedly brokered by President Donald Trump, has been put in place. The use of air power in the region marks a significant breakdown in the fragile peace and highlights the deeply entrenched territorial disputes that continue to threaten region stability. Now that's interesting because, you know, Thailand is a big tourist destination as well, and they rely on money coming in, and Cambodia too. And that's gonna
it sounds like a skirmish on the border. But I didn't even know Thailand had an air force, but
yeah, they do. They do.
Apparently.
So, my friend Christine just visited Thailand last year. Remember we had her on the show? Yeah.
Oh yeah. How's she doing? Yeah.
Christine, she's doing nice. Well. Yeah, she's great. So news. Here's news. So for our channel anyway, so we had Christine on, and her son was tragically murdered when he was 18 years old. He would have been around 34 now. So Christine's son's killer was up for parole, and I went to the parole hearing back. It was during the Karen Read trial, so back it must have been in May or June. And we were worried that the parole board was going to grant him parole. And Christine was convinced, but then it turns out they did not grant him parole. So it's going to be another 3 years till he gets out, which is a good thing.
So hard that she has to go through that every 3 years. But.
Oh my God, she was a mess. I went with her. She was the whole family was, and you sort of relived the whole thing. You relived the facts, and there he's sitting there. So it was just horrible, but he's going to stay in jail for a little while longer.
At least 3 more, yeah.
Yep, 3 more years.
Good, he belongs there.
Yes.
Do you want to split the sports, or do you want to read through? Just read. How do you want to do it?
Oh, I don't care. Keep going.
I just put up. So I'll read the first one. I wanted to point out that tonight the Eagles play the Chargers on Monday Night Football, and that should be an outstanding game. We have no images.
Oh, that'll be a good one. Are you going to watch that?
Yes, I absolutely am. I'm hooked on football, NFL football more than anything else, and it's my favorite part of the year, just for that. And in that next one, it says Seahawks. I left the A out. I see that now when I wrote that.
Yeah, I like football as well. As far as I'm concerned about football, I'm very upset. I think Notre Dame got screwed out of being in the playoffs for college.
Oh, so you can bring us the NCAA report. All right.
Yeah, Miami jumped right over them. So I think it's I don't know, something went on, but they deserved it over Miami.
Oh, okay. I don't follow it. I know they have a playoff system there, but
that's my two cents.
Are you a Bills fan growing up?
Yes. So I'm a Patriots fan now, but I was a Bills fan growing up, and when the Patriots aren't doing well and it's not I root for the Bills because I feel sorry for the Bills. They haven't won a Super Bowl in how long?
Never.
Wait, never?
Never. They lost 4 in a row. At one point, they made the Super Bowl 4
Right.
times in the early 90s,
Yeah.
and they never won. I feel bad for them, too, actually. I spent
Yeah.
some time there, and
So,
nice people, and I would like to see them get some year when the Patriots are not contending. I would love to see them get a Super Bowl ring.
yeah. So I always try to root for them. They're my second favorite team that I'm always rooting for. My brother's, he lives in Rochester. They're all big Bills fans, as you can imagine. So
Do you know the Patriots' next game is against the Bills?
Oh yeah, yep, yeah,
Okay, yeah,
absolutely.
it's coming up a week from what's today? Monday, a week from yesterday.
Yeah,
We're playing the
week from
Bills.
yesterday. Yeah, we'll be watching that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and well, we'll get to the Bills in a moment. So yesterday, the Seahawks crushed the Falcons 37-9. So the Seahawks seem to be for real. Another one of those teams like the Patriots kind of rising up and still trying to convince people that they're for real. They seem to be. And then after losing the whole game, the Buffalo Bills came back to beat the Lions in the fourth quarter with the help. I don't know if you watched that game with the help of a pick six.
Oh, I missed it. No, that's awesome. Oh, you got to love
Yeah.
a pick six. That's awesome. And then the Saints, they beat the Bucks, knocking them out of the 15K.
Knocking me. That's me.
Oh,
That's me.
you.
I wrote this
Knocking
story
you
before I knew you were coming on. Knocking me. I was in this. Do you know what a survivor pool is?
No.
I wrote this earlier before I knew you were going to be doing this with me. And it says on the script, knocking me out. So Margaret's probably like, wait a minute, who knocks me out?
Who knocked me out? I thought you typoed it. Anyway.
No, I was the survivor pool is you pick one game every week. You throw in like $25, and but then once you pick a team once, you can't pick it again. And so over time, the pool gets eliminated. And this pool was over 15K, and I was in it up until this week. And yesterday, Tampa Bay was what knocked me out of the pool, and there was only 40 people left, and there was 15K. So I felt pretty excited about it until the Saints screwed me.
Oh, that stinks.
At beating the Bucks.
Ah, gosh, that stinks. Oh well, 15K. So the Jags beat the Colts, and the Colts quarterback tore his Achilles. How long will he be out with a torn Achilles?
He's out for the season, and maybe next year. He had already been playing on a fractured leg, and amazingly, he's trying to tough it out the last couple of weeks or the last week. And then now the other leg, the good leg, he tore the Achilles. That's like what Jason Tatum has.
Yeah.
And it generally takes a year to come back. So if he comes back next year, it'll be mid-season at best. It's too bad.
Man. That's a terrible tear. Oh my gosh. And the Steelers
Daniel Jones. Is his name.
Steelers beat the Ravens.
Yeah, and the big rivalry game there. That was a great game, and they just held on to do it.
Yeah. And the Rams bounced back to crush the Cards 45-17. Exciting day in football.
A lot of people believe the Rams are the best team in football. And then they actually lost kind of an upset to a weak team last week, but they bounced back this week. So I think last week was an aberration. They might be the best team in football.
Okay. The Texans beat the Chiefs 20-10 last night, putting their playoff hopes on life support. Is their dynasty over? What do you think?
Yeah, because they're now they have no chance of winning their division, but they could still, if they win the rest of their games, which there's a good chance they will, because they have a pretty good schedule now. They might make the playoffs as a wild card, but if so, you remember Brady and the Patriots had something like 10 years in a row in the AFC Championship. They now have the Chiefs are running on 7 years in a row, but is this the year they get knocked out?
Well, I hope so. I don't want anybody, I don't want anybody to catch up to Brady and the Patriots.
That's right. That's right. So,
of course, basketball news. So I'm a Celtics fan. They stayed hot, beating third place Toronto 121-113. So I used to take my kids to Celtics games quite a bit. I love them. So we would go, I also had, I was friends with one of the refs. So when he would come to Boston, he would give us the tickets. So that's how I could afford it with my kids.
And
So
probably when your kids were little, around the early 2000s, so before the Kevin Garnett years, the Celtics were kind of bad, but under the new ownership, they
yeah,
made the Garden really fan friendly and really kid
yeah.
friendly.
Oh
They
yeah,
made tickets available to families and stuff like that.
yeah.
So you would go to a game and it would be very loud but high pitched because it was all kids, but it was a good environment. It really was.
Yeah, and I also like how they have the little basketball games sometimes during halftime. The
Yeah.
kids get to go out and play. Oh, I have a story for you guys. By the way, this goes way, way, way back. Um, Back when I was married, which was a while ago. We were at this charity auction, and I accidentally bid. I didn't mean to. I don't know, a few drinks, for the opportunity for the one of our kids to be ball girl at the Boston Celtics. So my oldest Sarah got the chance to be ball girl, Celtics versus Lakers back in the day, and it was
Oh, wow.
wild. She was throwing in the balls and everything, and
Yeah.
it was really cool.
That's
Yeah,
nice. That was a
so
nice
it was
gift.
a nice thing for her to have. None of the other kids ever got it because we're not going to do that again. But it was fun.
Well, yeah. Your son would have loved it too because he's like 6'2",
Mhm.
6'3", you said.
Oh,
So
he would have loved it. Yeah, he was a good basketball player as well. Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
So the Celtics have been surprising, because obviously they
Mm.
cleaned house this year with Tatum hurt and they were over the salary cap. But despite all, so they got rid of Porzingis, they got rid of the point guard there. I can't remember his name. And yet now they've beaten in the last couple weeks. They're well over 500 now, and they've beaten all the top teams in the Eastern Conference, which is far weaker conference than the Western. But so they're going to make the playoffs unless they fall apart. So
Yeah.
they're an interesting team to watch.
Oh yeah, definitely. So in chat, somebody asked what the show is about tonight. So explain, Kevin, what we're doing tonight. Once again, I'm going to leave that to you.
Yeah, I think the idea was we want to try to do. We've already gone a little over, but we want to try to do like a 30-minute news show that just gets the headlines in the news, from the news, science, a little bit of sports, humor, and then if there's breaking news with something bigger, you'll have a place to go where you'll be familiar with the people in chat and you can discuss it. And we'll be watching it on the big channels, CNN and Fox, and trying to pick it up. And you have trusted sources in us. So, I've been following the national news all my life, and I have a good sense of history, and I know Margaret does too. So we would be a trusted place to go in a time of breaking news.
Yeah, and please, this is the first show that we've done anything like this. We're still going to cover true crime and trials and everything, but give us your honest input and say, okay, you went on too much on sports, or you didn't, give us what you guys want, because that's it. Really, we're doing it for you guys, right?
Yeah,
Kevin?
it's under development. And we'll see what works. We wanted to do a main focus on cold cases in the true crime world, but it's just difficult to get enough material. There's obviously a lot of really cases where you could hopefully make a difference. But there isn't a lot of information usually when you pick up a cold case. That's why it's cold, right? And what information the police have, they don't generally make public. So it's hard to talk about them. It's hard to do a show on them. So we're going to still continue to do that, but we're trying to find a way to work it all together.
Yes, definitely.
And then the Red Hot Lakers was the last we had in the sports there.
Yes, I like the science news. Are we ready to talk science, or did you?
So the Lakers beat the Sixers. That was the last thing, and then whatever. These are the sports thing that I'm interested in. But you see, like Margaret is interested in NCAA football and maybe basketball, or just football.
Well, it depends on who's playing in basketball, but yeah, I mean, I love March Madness. That's another thing we could talk about.
Right.
I love.
Yes, I will watch that when that comes up.
Yeah,
and we may have other people.
Maybe we'll have a pool going.
Yeah, good idea.
That'd be illegal. I don't know. Yellow Cottage Tales March Madness pool.
Yeah. Oh, if we do anything illegal, they'll try to they'll rat on us.
Right down.
But so, but anything you guys are interested in, or maybe we'll have somebody else to contribute. And for instance, I don't really follow hockey during the regular season. To me, hockey doesn't exist until the playoffs when it becomes one of the greatest sports. But if somebody wants to come on and talk about it, or give us this, give us reports on it, we'll be happy to go into it.
Yeah, I like the Bruins.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's go into the science. I highlighted some science stories here. I should have been able to get images, but we just didn't have time, or even some of these we want to be able to put in clips too. So would you like to do this one, or you?
Yeah.
Good for it. Okay.
Astronomers.
One.
I loved astronomy back in the day, and I took some college courses on it, and I had a telescope growing up, so I like this one. Astronomers find extraterrestrial sugars in asteroid Bennu samples, in a finding that has significant implications for understanding the origin of life on Earth. Scientists have discovered bioessential sugars in the samples collected from the asteroid Bennu. NASA's, ORISIS REX mission returned the samples, which has been found to contain sugars, a kind of space gum, and other stardust. I know this suggests that the fundamental building.
I was hoping for space Snickers.
Well, gum is not bad. This suggests that the fundamental building blocks of life, which include these types of sugars, were not unique to Earth, but could have been delivered to our planet by asteroids and comets early in its history. Analyzing these materials continues to shed light on the formation of the solar system and how life may have developed. That is fascinating.
Yeah, because life is made of sugars, right? Amino acids and.
I know that I'm sweet.
maybe you came from an asteroid.
I think so. Extraterrestrial.
Certainly from space, but
yeah, I am spacey. That's for sure. As you hear my feet going back and forth because I forget to turn off my TV in the other room. But
so that's one of the main theories of how life got formed, is that amino acids came to this planet on asteroids, and eventually, I don't know, something sparked them and they came together and formed life. But that's also part of a panspermia type theme, where if that's the case, then those sugars, amino acids, whatever, they should be all over the universe, right?
Yeah,
so because they're coming on asteroids. So
yeah, there's a good
therefore
chance life on other planets too.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's see. New discovery solves North Atlantic cold spot mystery. Links it to ocean currents. Researchers have finally solved a nearly century-old mystery surrounding a persistent, unexplained cold patch in the North Atlantic Ocean. New analysis reveals that this cold spot is linked to a long-term slowdown in the Atlantic meridional overturning circulation, also called the AMOC. This is a major ocean current system that acts as a climate regulating conveyor belt.
Mm-hmm.
Only climate models that incorporate a weakened AMOC are consistent with the observed patterns of temperature and salinity in the area, a finding that overturns previous models that were unable to fully account for the phenomenon. The AMOC's slowdown is a key climate concern, as its weakening could bring extreme drought to Europe for hundreds of years.
Oh my God.
This is similar to, Margaret, to when you're fishing there. What's the big current? The Gulf Stream, right?
Yeah, the Gulf Stream. So do you realize that the currents, they are like a conveyor belt, and it goes, and then at one point it goes all the way to the ocean floor and comes back around. So one of the most interesting shows that I've seen this year is on Netflix. It's called The Oceans, and it really gets into the current. There's a big current that goes around the globe, and it takes you through that current. I think that was one of the most fascinating shows. President Obama is the one who narrates it, but it's a must-see. It's quite interesting.
And if you look at a map, Boston is like on the same level. What is it? What's the word I'm looking for?
Latitude.
Latitude. Yes, latitude. Distance from the equator. The same latitude as, I believe, like Rome.
Yeah.
And so it seems so. Why in Britain is like what you would be up in Nova Scotia or something. So why isn't it as cold in Europe as it is in Nova Scotia or the northern Canada? And I think the reason is these conveyor belts like the Gulf Stream and like this
Yeah.
AMOC that bring warm water and warm air.
Yeah. There's a reason, and I forget, but I just recently read an article where there again, I'm not a scientist, but there is a reason why these changes could impact Europe more than the United States. But again,
Because Europe depends on that air coming in to warm it up, and without it, it'll be damn cold.
okay.
Quite a bit colder.
But the idea that they'd be in drought. I mean, can you imagine London in a drought? I can't.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And the last story I put up there, again,
Yeah.
when I put these, I really didn't know if you'd be on or not. So, but this was Stephen Hawking. Remember the famous guy in the wheelchair?
Yeah.
So he called this the dark forest theory. And it's the idea that we should not be sending out any kind of signals into outer space to try to reach out to the aliens, if there are aliens, because you don't know. And he compares it to, primitive times for primitive forest creatures. You wanted to hide. You don't want anybody else to know, any other predator, but all the predators out there to know of your existence. And if there are any predator civilizations, alien civilizations out there, and you're putting up a beacon saying, "Here I am," that could be a mistake.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I thought of it like that.
So when you think about aliens, if you think about the possibility of aliens, Margaret, do you think that they're going to be friendly? They're going to be predators, either a little of both? What do you think?
Well, the problem is that they did come here, they could bring all sorts of diseases that we've never heard of. Like, look what happened when the Europeans came across and all the Native Americans over here got really sick.
Right.
They hadn't experienced the Europeans' diseases and all that. So I imagine there could be a lot of contamination that they could
What
bring.
diseases? I don't know. I don't know if a bacteria or virus that developed on a completely alien world would be able to take root here. I don't know. I'm asking. I'm not a biologist. Do you think?
I don't. Well, I would think that they'd be able to carry disease. I mean,
because they haven't. If they haven't, I mean, they would be diseases, but would they be able to infect a human because they haven't, or any animal on Earth, because they haven't evolved to. You know what I'm saying? They haven't.
I know
evolved
what you're
to,
saying. I don't have an answer to that, Kevin. That's but it's a very interesting way to look at it. I would say, gosh. Well, I mean,
Right.
there's all sorts of reasons why we might not want them here. They could be much more advanced, and maybe their planet is dying, and they come, like the movies, right? They come here and they say, "Oh,
Yeah.
wow, well, let's take over." So yeah, you just don't know.
Well, this theory originally popularized by the novel called The Dark Forest is one proposed solution to what's called the Fermi paradox. And you've probably heard of the Fermi paradox, Margaret. That's basically is if there are billions of galaxies, and each galaxy has hundreds of millions of stars.
Yeah.
And so there are trillions and trillions of stars, most of them with multiple planets.
Right.
So if the universe is teeming with life, the Fermi paradox asks, where are they? How come we don't hear anything? How come we don't see anything? Any signs of it? Where is everybody?
Because it's so far out there. They're just too far away.
Right.
I bet there is life out there, but you know how long it takes that light from some of those distant stars
Right.
to reach us? Thousands of years, maybe millions.
Right.
Dinosaur
Right.
time. Yeah. So I think that's the issue.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it could be that. There's one theory is that species that develop intelligence, that begin to develop technology, eventually destroy each other. That's just kind of a normal thing that most of them just, and that's why there's nothing out there. That's one theory too.
Hmm. That's interesting. That is
Yeah.
very, very possible, actually.
We certainly, I'm more optimistic about humans surviving and not destroying each other, but we won't know until we do it.
Mhm.
But
That's right. We won't.
we've had nuclear weapons since 1945 and haven't used them.
Yeah, it only takes once.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, we've already used them, but at a massive scale.
we haven't used them since when we first
Yeah.
developed them, right?
Right. So
Yeah, and then obviously much more scary too that how AI might be able to tinker or help someone with bad intentions tinker with a virus and make it
yes.
such that would wipe out most of the population. That's a huge fear.
It is a huge
So,
fear.
and how do you control these things and still remain a free people? I mean, to really safeguard us, you'd have to make the government more powerful than you want, because you'd be surrendering your freedoms.
Oh, yeah. You would be. Just like COVID, but to a much larger scale.
So I think we're probably going to end it there. The last section of the show that we want to do is humor, and but you really need to have the video clips to go with that. So I did line up a few humor stories, but unless you have those clips lined up, one of them was the drunken raccoon that we talked about earlier that broke into a liquor store.
Well, let's end it with the drunken. Why don't you describe the drunken raccoon to everybody? I think it's kind of funny. We have to end up on a funny note. So just everybody picture this.
A drunken raccoon ended up broken into, I'm not aware this was New Jersey or somewhere else, but went into a pretty large package store when it was closed at night.
Wait, was the raccoon drunk before it went in?
Well, we haven't asked it. We'll have to, when it sobers up, get an interview.
Just seeing if it drank other establishments. Okay.
You know what? Based on the liquor that it went into, I'm going to answer that question that it was a veteran drinker.
Okay.
Because
so it's alcoholic.
When they showed all the bottles smashed on the floor, and it had to smash it to drink up. But it really smashed up all the expensive stuff. So it knew what it was doing.
Oh yeah. And it drank it up. And where did they find that raccoon, Kevin?
Passed out in the bathroom. And they showed a picture of it. That's what I would have loved to. It was like sprawled out and passed out. They said it was passed out. They didn't say it was dead. I don't know. Hopefully it did survive hopefully it survived.
Yeah, probably. They probably pumped its poor little stomach.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That would be quite a sight to come into, I'm not surprised. A lot of those liquors are sweet. I'm sure it had some good scotch and whiskey and all sorts of liquors.
It had good taste.
It had good taste, expensive taste.
It was a raccoon that moved from Canton. But no, I didn't say that.
You're funny. Oh my God. Well,
cut.
So
edit that out.
And of course, we'll be streaming live tomorrow morning starting at 8:45, and it's your turn to run the stream.
Okay, I haven't set that up yet. I'll be setting up.
You better go. You're like me.
Sending them out to you and Jen. So we'll be back tomorrow around 8:30, 8:45. It's a full day in court, and the trial is expected to go another couple weeks until a week from Friday, I guess. And also, I want to keep reminding people, if you could do me a favor, this Saturday, 4:00, a little bit different. I have an interview with someone who his group, I'm not sure if it's a company, they're from MIT, develops open use software that uses advanced artificial intelligence to help design proteins for drugs for cancer and so forth. They designs it at the molecular level, and this is the future of medicine. You'll be able to someday, and within our lifetimes, hopefully, go into your doctor's office, and if you have something serious, they'll be able to take a genetic test of what's ailing you and design a medicine from scratch, molecule by molecule, that will help cure you. Certainly, if you have a serious disease like cancer or something like that. So, his name is Hans, and he's going to be coming in Saturday. So, I'd like to be able to show him a solid audience. So, if people can go to the channel and find that video under live, and then click notify to remind you that it's this Saturday afternoon at 4.
That's
but for
great.
everybody else,
Yeah.
we'll see everybody tomorrow morning.
Yes. See you tomorrow morning, and hope you enjoyed the show, our news show.
And this is also found at It's Crime Media.
Yes, that's
So
my
you can
YouTube
find-
channel. It's a Crime Media. So I'm building. I'm not like Kevin's got all these subscribers. I'm getting there slowly.
Yeah, I know. All these subscribers, and the FKR comes in making fun of me every night. Look at you. You only got 100 people watching, you loser.
Hey, it's more than they're doing. So
No, it's not more than they're doing, but that's all right.
no,
We
it's
know
more
how the
than
world-
that one person's doing, probably.
Yeah, probably. But
the
we
one
know how
that's
the world
criticized.
works.
Yeah.
There's a thirst. There's not really a thirst for the dry truth. There's a thirst for conspiracy. So that's just the way it is. And we made that choice, me and Margaret and other people, to pursue the truth.
Yeah.
It takes us where it takes us.
It
But
does.
it's taken us to a very good crowd and chat. So we appreciate
I
it.
think so too. Yeah, I'm happy.
All right, Margaret, good night. And I will see
All right,
you in
good
the
night.
morning.
Yes, see you guys in the morning. Thank you.